What is up, guys? Today I actually bring you my own BMW M340i, which I've had for about a month now. And I'm gonna go through all the tech features, why I bought it, and everything that I've done to it. Let's go for a drive. All right, first off, this makes 382 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. And we all know that BMW loves underrating their power. So when you throw this on a dyno, it actually makes a little over 400 horsepower to the crank from the factory. The crazy part is this B58 inline 6-cylinder has so much potential. You can literally just download 500 horsepower from the internet. And across the world, the B58 community has been putting down crazy tie-ins with nothing but a downpipe and a flex fuel kit. And this motor is bulletproof. It's such a well-rated engine in both power, reliability, and fuel efficiency. It's like the modern day 2JZ, but you get a turbo as standard. And it's a great engine to build on. And speaking of the 2JZ, this motor is also shared with the Toyota Supra, which means if it passes Toyota's rigorous reliability testing, then it should be pretty reliable, right? In fact, Consumer Reports rating for 2022 puts BMW as the third most reliable vehicle for the year, just behind Toyota and Lexus. And the most reliable BMW of all is the BMW 3 Series with either the B48 or the B58. It's one of the most reliable models that you can get out there. Anyways, to do launch control, you need to put it in Sport Plus, transmission in Sport, traction off. And I'm gonna get the sport gauges on. What you're gonna wanna do is brake all the way down, wait for the PSI to build to 11 and launch. Jesus Christ, this thing is fast. Okay. Well, that's way over 60 miles per hour, way too quickly. This is rated at 4.1 seconds 0 to 60. But as you know, BMW is lying once again. What you'd really do is about 3.5 seconds is what people would get. You get a few different drive modes down here, including Sport, Comfort, and Eco. There's also a way to adjust Sport individual mode where you can control the steering, the engine, transmission, and if you have the adaptive dampers, which this does not, then you can also control how stiff the vehicle is. If you don't get it, like this car, it is incredibly stiff. It's not the most comfortable thing. It's not as comfortable as a normal 330i or like the competitor Audi S5, but that's what makes this thing super sporty. If you want the added comfort, don't skimp out on the adaptive suspension. All right, so every BMW now uses a ZF8 speed, which I think is a really fast and good transmission. I like it more than dual clutches, and it even has that dual clutch sounds. You have this really nice thump that you feel throughout the car, but it's good. And the burbles, of course. Yeah, you just get this really nice deep thump that resonates throughout the car. This is also an X-Drive car, which pretty much feels like a rear-wheel drive car when you throw it around a corner. It's so well balanced, and it even starts to oversteer when you want it to. Yeah. You can really get the back of this car to kick out, especially when you have traction half off or completely off. You can even do donuts if you want to. If you have traction on, it won't even let you oversteer at all. It even applies slight braking so that you don't oversteer. Pretty safe, but you can let loose because it's still a BMW. A lot of the reason why it is so easy to slide is because there's an LSD in the back now, which the F generation 340 didn't get. You also have 400 horsepower helping you out, and a really good all-wheel drive system that's pretty much always rear-wheel drive bias. You might find yourself burning through tires a lot faster than you think because you can power slide through pretty much every corner. Yeah, when you put it in comfort mode, this just becomes a normal daily car. The exhaust valves close, the steering gets lighter, everything feels much softer, except the suspension, because you can still feel everything. But it's a better daily commuter car than the F chassis, yet it's still more fun and tossable when you want it to. The all-wheel drive doesn't intrude on driving dynamics at all, but it can still really help you grip around a corner, especially when it's wet. Also, if you look this thing up, it weighs just under 4,000 pounds, which in theory makes this a land yacht. It's a heavy, heavy car. There's 3 batteries, one for the mild hybrid, there's one in front, there's one in the back, but you would never guess that this car weighs this much. The steering feels spot on, the suspension is nice and firm, it makes this car feel very well balanced. And it has to do a lot with the chassis tuning that I know BMW put endless hours into the engineering department to make it feel this nice. You rotate from like the center axis of a car because this thing is a 50-50 weight distribution. The only car that I'd say beats BMW in chassis tuning is Porsche. And that's how cars like the GT3 will embarrass cars around the Nürburgring that has 3 times as much horsepower. And it all has to do with chassis tuning, which BMW again did a great job on all their new G chassis cars. It's what makes this thing so playful when you chuck it in a corner. And the fuel economy on these B58 motors is crazy. The rated fuel economy is just 23 miles per gallon in the city and 32 on the highway. If you're driving about 70 miles per hour, you can do quite a bit better than that too, which today I'm averaging 37 miles per gallon and I'm not driving that slowly either. But still, the EPA rating is better than an Elantra N, which makes half the horsepower, weighs 1,000 pounds less, and it's an inline-4. It's crazy how this is still more efficient than the Hyundai, and a lot of inline-4 cars too. Everyone keeps thinking that V6s aren't efficient, and they're correct because this isn't a V6, it's an inline-6, which not only sounds better, performs better, and feels more balanced as an engine, it's also a lot more efficient. On the exterior, obviously I am biased because it is my own car, but I think this looks gorgeous for a 4-door sedan. We've got the laser lights with auto high beams, which is a must-have option, and I've got these PPF with XPEL tint. Coming to the side, I'm running winter wheels and tires right now, and I have also changed out all the brushed aluminum trimming to gloss black. From the front grille, the intake vent, trims, the mirror caps, exhaust tips. It's either I painted them or I just replaced the part completely. I also slapped on a PSM style duck lip, which looks massive on the car, a diffuser, and I got some rear canards and a front lip as well, all of which you can grab off of cpgarage.com. I've attached the link down below. The trunk has a kick release feature and 17 cubic feet of space. It also has a ski hatch and no spare tire. Instead, you get a massive battery in the back. Because it's a BMW, so obviously weight distribution has to be as close as it can to 50-50. There's also a 12-volt outlet and a sub back here. And there's also a lock button and a close button on the trunk lid as well. Alright, moving into the interior, the principle again once applies in making this a very driver's oriented car. Everything is kind of like shifted towards the driver. The seats go really nice and low, it's great for the track. The steering wheel also comes out really nice and far, and I like how it feels. It's pretty thick overall. It might not be as shiny and fancy as a lot of the other luxury cars with all their fancy aluminum vents and stuff. I couldn't really care about all that stuff because this is way more easy and simple to use. Everything's just laid out perfectly as a driver's car. I love the fact that they still have the iDrive controller down here, and they've also made it a touch screen as well. You end up using both in case you don't want to reach all the way here when you're driving. And you can also write on the little knob as well. In case that's not enough, you also get gesture control, turn up the volume, next track. You even have a custom one. I set this as go home. It's pretty good. The instrument cluster has a lot of things that you can go through, including your horsepower and torque, your fuel economy, your songs, whatever. And you also have a heads-up display, which shows you your navigation info, your speed limit, and also a rev counter. There's a whole lot of things that you can go through on the main display. One cool thing is a drive recorder, which you can activate by pressing and holding the camera button or through the screen, but also it will record automatically if it detects an accident. And it uses all 4 cameras around the car to capture 4 different views for the last 20 seconds and the following 20 seconds from when it's activated. The drive recorder actually didn't come with this car. This car came out before this feature existed. Even though the drive subscription thing from BMW has a lot of backlash online and on social media, I think it's a great idea because it allows you to get features that come out after the car is made. Like the drive recorder, I wouldn't be able to get it because it came out after this car was released. But through the connected drive store, you can just buy the feature outright or subscribe to it. Like let's say if this car is first owner from Arizona, they didn't spec out the heated seats because they don't need it. But then the second owner lives in Canada and now you're freezing your butt off because you don't have heated seats. You can either just subscribe to the heated seats now in a lot of new BMWs with iDrive 8, or you can just buy the feature outright. It allows you to get things that didn't come with the car or was released after, so the car doesn't become obsolete as quickly. BMW Connected app is actually really good as well. You can lock, unlock, start the car, schedule your remote starts, check the cameras around the car, honk the horns, flash lights, and also check the vehicle status. You can even get a digital key, which you can add to your Apple Pay or share it with your family and friends and control their access to the car through the app. And if that's not enough, you even have a physical card that you can use to unlock and lock the car and start it as well by putting it in the wireless charging tray. When I go to the gym, I actually like to leave my wallet and keys in the car instead of carrying it around with me or leaving it in the locker. I just use my phone to lock and unlock the car so I can have empty pockets while doing my workout. The whole experience from head to toe with phone integration and driver profiles, from managing your service appointments, is super seamless and thoroughly thought about. BMW doesn't really rush into things when they're implementing breakthrough features. Instead, they've picked up a few things while working with Toyota. And one of those things is perfecting every single feature and making it actually viable and reliable when they implement it in their cars. There's still a whole lot of features though. It would take me another half an hour to get through everything. But one thing I did want to point out is the driver's assistance package, which is an option. You do get blind spot monitors and forward collision warning and lane departure warning as standard, but the driver's assistance package is worth getting if you live in the city or if you do a lot of road trips. You get lane keep assist with adaptive cruise control, and it's one of the best systems out there. Under 65 kilometers on the highway, when driver's assist plus is available, you can press the confirm button and it'll take over the steering completely. You no longer have to keep your hands on the wheel at all. There are yellow lights here that indicate that it's working, and there's a camera that watches your eyes, and if you're not paying attention to the road, it'll definitely yell at you. Above 65 kilometers though, is just regular adaptive cruise control with the regular lane keep assist, which means if you take your hands off for like 10 seconds or so, it'll beep at you. There's even lane change assist, backup assist, which remembers your last 50 meters. So if you're in an alleyway or a driveway or a parking lot or a parking spot that is hard to reverse out of, just click the button when you're in reverse and you control the gas and brakes, while the steering wheel would do everything by retracing your last 50 meters. And there's also a 360 camera with a whole lot of views and sensors. Literally, it makes this car impossible to hit anything when you're parking. Even if you tried, the car will think that you're gonna bump into something and the emergency brakes will activate right away. Hey BMW, is there virtual, actually go away. Actually, come back. Hey BMW, it's kind of chilly in here. And it turned up my climate control and my heated seats. And it only does it on the side that you're speaking from. So if you're the passenger, only do it on that side. It's a very good voice assistance program, something that you'd actually use. In terms of the materials in here, it's nothing fancy. It doesn't look as nice as a lot of the other luxury brands with their fancy shiny stuff, but this is way more solid than a lot of cars. There's no squeaks, there's no rattles. Everything just feels very nice and well built in general. And in my opinion, it still looks really good. The Harman Kardons also sound amazing, and the bass hits different, especially because of the insulation in this car, which when you're playing music slightly, not even that loud, you can't even hear the horn when you're honking it. The new iDrive 8 LCI 3 Series has a nicer interior in my opinion, but what I don't like is the new shifter in the iDrive 8 cars, the little chicken nugget. No one really complained about this shifter. I don't know why they had to change it. Just a slight little annoyance with the new ones. There's a USB-C port in here, 2 more USB-C's port in the back, and a traditional USB port up here, which is right next to the cup holder. And you may think, that's kind of stupid. Why would you put a USB port right next to the cup holders where water might spill? Well, BMW had a solution. They just made it waterproof. They really thought through every single detail in this car. They just made everything as easy and simple to use as possible, and it still looks and feels really good. It's function over form in here, and that's what BMW is all about. Nowadays, the cars I drive, whether it has 1200 wheel horsepower from its electric motors, or it's a land yacht that makes 700 horsepower, I still find pretty dull to drive. There isn't really an emotional connection between me and the car anymore. BMWs though, especially their M lineup and even their M light cars like the M340, M240, and the X3 M40, pretty much anything with the B58 are unlike anything I've ever experienced before. For the money, the M340 is wicked fast. It might not be the fastest car out there compared to EVs and Teslas, but I'm overwhelmed of emotions and adrenaline when I drive this car. It's just so goddamn fun, especially for the money. It's one of the few cars that will get my heart racing when I drive it. Comparing a Tesla 0-60 time to a real performance car is like comparing a barbecue to a microwave. It may cook faster, but nobody wished for a microwave burger. And this will still destroy it in a race. You really get pinned to your seat when you ascend this car. There's just so much power on demand. Compared to other luxury cars, who cares if it's not the most luxurious interior with all the fancy aluminum shiny buttons? This car is just made for driving enthusiasts. Everything is just easy, simple to use. You feel like you're connected to the car all the time. Yet it still has all the bells and whistles and nice premium finishes throughout the car. Chassis tuning is incredible with its engine and its rear-wheel drive base platform that makes it responsive and fun to drive, and it gives you so much confidence to push the car. Everything is just perfectly laid out. From the driving position and how everything is laid out, everything is just perfect. And this isn't even the full-fledged M car. BMW has really done an amazing job on all these new G chassis M and M Lite cars. And they really did and have been making the ultimate driving machines.